Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to Game Overcast. My name's David Kaelin. I am the Game Over CEO, and welcome back. Sorry we've been gone for a while. Dan says thanks. Hi. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for coming back, Dan. It's about time.
Well.
Yeah. So the reason we've been off for several weeks is because Dan's been, at the beach, hanging out, having fun, little vacay.
Without you.
While me and all of you watching the show, we've been at home doing our normal work and school life and not being able to have any fun like that. So, Dan's off having a great time. Yeah, he's saying suck it. Yeah. Real nice, Dan. We all really appreciate you.
You can go on vacation too. I'm not stopping you.
I can't go on a vacation? How would I function on a vacation? I wouldn't be able to do all the Game Over and Classic Game Fest and Game Overcast stuff that needs to be done. Actually, though, I guess I didn't do Game Overcast either the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, well. So that left me all kinds of free time.
Exactly.
Anyway, so we're back. We're happy to be back. It is, what is it today? It's September 16th, I think. It's a Friday.
15th. Oh, 16th.
Yeah, 16th. So it's Friday. We all love Fridays. It's a great day of the week. It's my favorite day of the week, actually, because it's the end of the week. So we're getting ready for the weekend. This is episode 30 of season 4. So we're over the halfway point. We're approaching the end of summer and the beginning of fall. So that's nice. And we should be back to regular weekly shows now, I think, after our little brief hiatus there. But I'm going to go in the show, we've got news, we've got events. I'm going to go into details on what's happened the past few weeks because a lot of stuff's happened here, all of our viewer feedback and everything. So a lot to cover. So let's get into the show. So again, welcome back, and let's get started with Level 1 Current Events. And we're back with Level 1 Current Events. So what's going on in the world of gaming the past few weeks? Since we've been away for several weeks, there's a lot of news stories, actually. And am I going to tell you about all of them? No. Just the ones that I happen to notice and like. But you get the small, cherry-picked, cream of the crop, best, most important news stories to a retro gamer or small business fan or, whatever kind of viewer you are of this show. I think we're all pretty much gamers, retro gamers, fans of game stores, or just small business aficionados that just think I'm an amazing CEO. And for those two of you, you're awesome. Thanks for your support. But anyway, so current events. So big news. I thought this was the biggest news that Why did I stumble on that? I don't know why. Let's try that again. The biggest news. Hey! So Nintendo has announced the title to the next Zelda game. I thought that was pretty big news. We've been waiting for that for a long time. So the official date is May 12th, 2023. So in about, about 8 months or so? It's coming out 9 months. But the title is going to be Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
It's not Tears?
Ooh. Is it Tears? No, it's Tears. It's sure? Tears like, isn't it? Tears like, oh, the kingdom went away.
The kingdom is torn from the...
Oh, it's Tears of the Kingdom?
I don't know, actually. It could be either.
It took us 3 weeks. This was the best story. I thought the most exciting news, and I don't know how to say the title.
That's been a discussion online.
Aren't you glad you get all of your news here?
Nobody knows.
Aren't you glad? Okay. Well, I do love Zelda, but I'm not maybe the biggest Zelda fan. But I do enjoy them, the games. But I don't know, I guess, whether it's Tears or Tears. I don't know.
I think Tears. You're probably right.
But either way, the kingdom's either sad or it's being torn to shreds. One or the other. So both are bad. I don't know. I guess they need Link's help. I don't know. But anyway, it's coming in May. So now it has a title, which may or may not be Tears of the Kingdom. And so that's big news. The other thing that's happened recently is Ubisoft confirmed that the price of their new games is now going to be $70 pretty much across the board, which is not revolutionary by itself, but when combined with what other people are already charging for their games, it pretty much means that most new games now, they used to be $49.99, then they were like $59.99. Now they're going to be $69.99. So basically $70 for just about any new game now for the newer consoles. So it's just kind of one more or one less company out there that's going to not have their games $70. So that's kind of bad news because it just, the more expensive gaming gets, whether it's retro gaming or current gaming, you price people out of the market, right? People that would be buying 2 or 3 games can then only get 1. And, so less games get bought, less games get played, and gamers are less happy.
Ubisoft games, especially, but pretty much all video games, aside from Nintendo, drop in price significantly within the first 6 months.
That's true. People that are fans of Game Over, know all about secondhand, reselling games, and you know what happens after about 2 or 3 months is the price goes.
Not Nintendo, but everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain first-party games that stay up there for a while, but most of the time, games after a few months, sometimes a few weeks, drop. And so it'll be 70, but it'll be 60, 50. Eventually be greatest hits, and what does that mean for greatest hits? So they're not going to be 19; they're going to be like 29 or 39 will be a greatest hit. I don't know. But yeah, they do go down. But it's also something that I want to, as not just the owner of Game Over, and obviously we benefit from having physical media, but for you as the game players and collectors, consumers of this product, it shows you that when you buy stuff digitally and you don't actually own things, the more money you spend on it, the more you're just giving to somebody else that you'll never recoup. You buy a game for $70 and you get the physical disc and box and stuff, you can resell that. So it may not be worth $70. In fact, it'll never be worth $70. It's like a new car. Once you drive it off the lot, it's half. But it's worth something that you can resell for something. And, whether it's through a store like Game Over or to a friend or whatever, it's worth something to you later on down the road. But you spend $70 for something digital and you don't want it anymore, or they stop offering it on their streaming service or whatever, it's just gone. You get zero out of that. So, and Game Over always pays more than zero. So, anyway, just a kind of a sad thing that prices going up, and at the time when the market is really booming, and that means that people will spend that money, but they're going to have to buy less games with it. So that kind of sucks. National Video Game Day was also this past week, so I hope you all celebrated on Monday. I don't know how National Video Game started. Video Game Day started. But did you guys play video games on Monday to celebrate?
I played Splatoon.
Yeah, Dan says he played Splatoon. How is Splatoon 3? I know you were excited about that.
It's more Splatoon.
Yeah.
What more could you want?
So Dan was saying it's kind of so-so.
Shut up.
Yeah. He loves that game. He was really looking forward to it. So, did you take that on your trip?
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was some Splatoon action in the car going on? Or on the plane, I guess.
Plane.
Yeah.
In the late night.
Late night.
On the beach. In the bathroom.
Did you see the beach, or were you just playing Switch the whole time?
I mean, the beach was there.
Yeah. You could hear the waves.
Yeah.
I can hear the waves. I'm at the beach. I guess most people these days, I haven't been to the beach in a long time, and I would like to go. So we should plan a Game Overcast beach party where we all just go. All fans of the show go together to the same spot on the same beach, and we just party together.
South Padre.
Let's do it. South Padre. But I wonder, and Dan, maybe you can answer this too. Like, when people go to the beach these days, do people actually play with beach balls, and do they run into the water and little boogie boards and stuff? Or is it just people sitting in a chair on their phone like this, like they could give two craps about the fact that they're at a beautiful beach?
You get all types. But most people are at the beach doing the beach.
They're enjoying the beachy stuff.
There are still people who are just like, I brought my chair, here's my phone.
Yeah.
I love the ocean.
It's like what you do every day, sit and stare at a device, except now you can do it while getting sunburned.
But probably most people are there to beach.
Yeah, but you saw people just beaching, like traditional family values, like kids, let's run out and splash each other and get in the pool or get in the ocean, chase some sharks around, stuff like that. Have fun.
People are more willing to put their phones away now than they were in 10 years ago when
Oh, you think so? They put them away more?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always see people on their devices, public places. Well, I don't hang out, but when I see people in a public place or even an event or something where you're supposed to be enjoying the event, I see a lot of people just on their phones. I don't know. I don't do that. I mean, I can't really look at my phone for more than 15 minutes or so, and then I get bored of it. I get bored of scrolling and looking, and I have to do something else. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, we're getting off track here. Let's get back to news. So in other news, and this is more retro-specific news, so Microsoft has confirmed that GoldenEye is coming out to not only Xbox Game Pass, but also Nintendo Switch and Switch Online. So there's going to be online multiplayer GoldenEye action on Xbox systems and on Switch. So basically everything except PlayStation. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, not screw them. I'm sorry, PlayStation people, but But it's cool. So so it's finally coming out. It's going to be have 16:9 screen. It's going to be 4K resolution, online multiplayer, good stuff. So stuff that people have wanted for a long time on Xbox and Nintendo consoles coming out.
Xbox does not have online multiplayer.
The Xbox does not have online multiplayer?
Nope.
How? How not? I thought it was on all of them.
That's the thing. Yep. Nope.
But the Xbox is all about online multiplayer. How is... Dan, you have to break this down for me.
Okay.
Explain. Okay.
The Xbox version is like upgraded resolution, 4K, upgraded a bunch of like...
So the Switch Online is not upgraded resolution?
I don't know that.
Oh, okay.
I know that the Xbox version has a bunch of upgrades, but no online.
I just got 16:9, 4K resolution, online multiplayer. But you're saying that's...
No online multiplayer. The Switch version does have online multiplayer, but it remains to be seen whether or not they're upgrading it in any way. In other ways. Bye.
Well... So I guess that's semi-exciting news then. I don't know. I guess we'll need more details.
Buy a Switch.
It is hard to beat Switch, right? I mean, it's just, for the company that was always like kind of, number 3 these past couple generations, and, like now literally all they have is this handheld console, which you would think means really puts them in a corner. Like, Switch pretty much just rules gaming, don't they?
Kicking ass.
It's just crazy.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I guess we'll find out about that. But also to Nintendo Switch Online, they're releasing some other games from Nintendo 64, which is great. They're going to have, let's see, so Mario Party, Pilot Wings, and Mario Party 2 coming this year, and then Mario Party 3, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, 1080 snowboarding, and Excite Bike 64 coming next year. So they are adding more 64 games, just little by little. And that's fine because 64, there's not that many good games. Sorry.
I resent that.
So once you get those like 7, that's like all the good games for 64. So they'll all be there.
I can name at least a dozen more.
Okay, Dan agrees. There's just no other games worth watching or playing. Okay. Survey time. Oh, I love surveys. Do you love polls?
Yes.
That's what she said. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So today's poll for this week is the best 5 video games based on an 80s TV show. So that sounds fun, right?
Yeah.
So this is done on Game Rant, so give them some props here.
Yay, Game Rant.
So top 5 games based on an 80s franchise, okay? And see if we agree with these, okay? Number 5, Airwolf.
What?
Okay.
What is that?
Already What is Airwolf? Are you kidding?
I've never heard of that show or video game.
You've never heard of Airwolf the show or video game?
No.
Okay. Let me break this down, young timer. Okay. Wait, let me okay, hang on.
Get your walker.
Okay, I get my walker. Okay. Now, Sonny, back in the 80s, we liked shows with car chases and vehicles that went fast and had lots of weapons on them. Sometimes these vehicles even talked to us or had some kind of AI that ran them. And so we had us a Knight Rider. We had us Airwolf, which was Knight Rider in a helicopter. We had Street Hawk. We had what else do we have? I'm thinking there's one more. Oh, what am I missing?
Wasn't there a horror movie about a truck?
What horror movie about a truck? No. What does that have to do with anything I'm talking about?
An AI truck that went on a killing spree.
I have no idea about a truck on a killing spree.
Fine.
Okay. Well, that totally. But basically, Knight Rider, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a guy, Michael Knight. He's got this super-powered car and goes around fighting crime.
Right.
Okay? So picture Knight Rider, but instead of a car, the black Trans Am is now a black helicopter.
So what video game is this?
It's the game based on...
What's it for?
What's
it on?
It's on, like, NES.
It's on, like, NES. Let me look this up.
It's on NES. I literally have the NES game. But Airwolf as a concept, it's basically Knight Rider in a helicopter. Okay.
Right,
okay. Dan hasn't. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you're into retro games, watching this show or listening to this podcast, hopefully you know what Airwolf is. It was Knight Rider in a helicopter.
I've seen this cover art before. I believe you now.
Okay. Black chopper, and there was a let's see, there was a movie in the 80s that had, I want to say the guy, what's his name, from Jaws. You remember the guy from the movie Jaws? And he was in a movie called Blue Thunder that was about like this like super powered like helicopter, like military, super weapon helicopter. And they had something like that, but it was like a private organization, kind of like Knight Rider, where it was one guy like out fighting crime, but he would do it like in the skies.
Wow.
Anyway, it was really cool. It had theme music, and there was a guy that was the sidekick, this older guy. I can't remember his name either, but he was really cool, and a really famous actor, George. What's his name? George.
Richard Dreyfuss.
No, not Richard Dreyfuss, but he was in like a million old movies and like westerns and stuff, and he was a famous guy. Anyway.
George Carlton.
No. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so number 5, Airwolf.
Oh, George Clinton.
Not George Clinton. He didn't bring the funk. All right, so but anyway, so Airwolf, in my opinion, the video game was not that great, but the show was awesome because I loved all those shows about cars. I loved, Dukes of Hazzard. I loved Knight Rider. I loved, Street Hawk, and because Street Hawk, you know what Street Hawk was? Street Hawk was Knight Rider on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I could have guessed that.
Yeah. So we had Knight Rider was a success, and then they wanted a bunch of other Knight Riders, but instead of the car, they did the Street Hawk was the motorcycle that was like badass. Oh, sorry, like awesome. And then they had Airwolf that was the helicopter. So anyway, there's a little 80s trivia for you. Thank you, Sonny. I hope you enjoyed this 80s trivia minute from your resident old timer. Thank
you.
All right. So other top 5 games based on the 80s, Nightmare, which I don't know this game actually, but apparently it's something based on a D&D choose your own adventure style game. And there was a show or something about that where like kids would I guess go into like medieval times and like time travel and try and fix stuff or fight things. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm gonna skip that one. I don't know what that is. So that's number 4. Number 3, we all know this one, The Simpsons. The Simpsons. Yeah. Which is probably, to me, that should be number 1. That is like the all-time best adaptation of an 80s show into a video game, I think. So that should be number 1. Even though that show, literally, it's still on now. Like it's like been on for like 40 years. But in the game, actually, I think came out in the 90s. So I think they kind of cheated on this survey because, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Simpsons game did not come out in the 80s. Well, like the original, the Simpsons original game, like the Simpsons the arcade game, the first one that came out, where it's 4-player multiplayer. At the time when all the all the arcades had like there was a lot of fighting games going on, and they had some 4-player fighting games. But then this one, instead of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you could pick out the 4 Simpson characters, and like Marge had the vacuum, and she'd like beat people up with that, and they'd spin around, and
I'm looking at
Bart had the skateboard. Let's see, what did Lisa have? What was Lisa's thing?
They totally cheated because there are no video games from The Simpsons in the 80s. Lisa had a jump rope.
Was it a jump rope?
Bicycle.
Well, Bart had the skateboard. Yeah. Marge had the vacuum. Yeah. Homer had
fisticuffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fist.
I think she had a jump rope.
Maybe a jump rope. Okay. But it was great. And then they had a whole series of Simpson games. Like, they've made a bunch of Simpson video games.
None of them were in the 80s.
But they all came out after 1990. But it was based on, I guess, because the Simpsons started in the 80s, maybe like 89 or something. Did they call that based on an 80 game? But quality-wise, I think, as far as an adaptation, it was great. And the graphics were very similar to the graphics on the show. So it was actually a good-looking game and a fun-to-play game. And it was 4-player multiplayer, so it was awesome. Okay, so moving on. So the number 2, according to this survey, was Star Trek: The Next Generation, which I've never played either, but I guess that's okay. And it's based on Star Trek, so that's got huge following, and I don't know. I guess I should check that out. And the number 1, Lego Dimensions, specifically they had an A-Team and a Knight Rider set. So you could play as like the A-Team characters and the van, or Michael Knight and like the Kit, the car. So I haven't played those. I haven't played any Lego Dimension games, but that's cool. I mean, I definitely love those shows. I used to watch both A-Team and Knight Rider a lot. I mean, I'm telling you, the 80s, it was all about like cheesy plots and action and crimes or capers that could be wrapped up in 60 minutes or less, including commercials.
Nice.
That's what it's all about, man, in the 80s. So anyway, and that is the end of our news segment. So that's all that you need to know that happened in the past few weeks around the world. There may be still war going on. There may be political issues in this country or elsewhere, but we're not going to cover any of that stuff. You get that news somewhere else. Go to somewhere else for that kind of news. So let's move on. Let's go to level 2 company events and see what's going on at your local Game Over video game store. And we're back with level 2 company info. So what's going on at your local Game Over video game store? Well, we have sales. We have sales every week. So this is the one going on right now. Let's see. The time you're watching this show, we're doing a coupon sale on Retron hardware. So that's basically any third-party system, new or used. So anything that's like not made by Nintendo or Sega or somebody like that. But we sell a lot of other devices, totally legal, that play the regular legal cartridges, but made by other companies. And there's a coupon for those in your email. So the way to save on this sale is you have to actually subscribe to our email list. And if you don't subscribe, you can sign up in the stores. But if you do subscribe, you just print out the coupon or show it on your phone when you get to the store, and you get 20% off any of those new or used third-party consoles. You can shop online too at GameOverVideogames.com and use coupon code NEWRETRO20, and you save 20% off a new retro console. Clever, right?
Love it.
Love it. Okay. The next sale, so I can see into the future. The next one coming is going to be September 23rd to 29th. By the way, that first sale on the Retrons was September 16th through 22nd. I think I left that out. So like for that whole week. Then the next week from September 23rd to 29th, that week we're doing a sale on all the Guitar Hero and Rock Band and SingStar and all the musical stuff. So basically it's 20% off all of that. So you save on the games, the microphones, the drums, the guitars, the keyboards. What else? I guess that's pretty much all of it. But any of that music-y stuff.
DJ equipment?
The big plasticky, music-y, video gamey stuff. So it's all 20% off. That's not available online because a lot of that stuff, like the drums and guitars, we don't sell online because they're just too big and bulky to ship. So you have to go to your local Game Over store for that. But it's 20% off for everybody. Just go in that week from the 23rd to 29th, and you get 20% off. And then you can rock that sale. All right. Also, there's a trade bounty this month. Nintendo 64s and, let's see, and GameCubes, right? Yes. So Nintendo 64s, $100 minimum for a black one. $150 for any of the colors. The Funtastic colors get you a fantastic amount of money. Mm-hmm. And then for GameCubes, any of the colors, the 3 colors for GameCube, $100. And that's the minimum payout in cash. And that's all you have to have is the machine that works, the wires, and one controller that are all like Nintendo brand for those systems. And that's what you get. So if you don't have all the accessories, that's okay. You can still bring it in. You'll get a little bit less, but we'll still take it. And then if you have that plus more, if you got a bunch of extra controllers or extra games or other systems or consoles you're not playing, bring them in because we buy everything. No matter how old or new, cash or store credit, we'll make you a deal for everything. So that's the trade bounty going on this month. So that's all through the month of September. Expires September 30th. What about events? Do you like events? Do you like free events?
Yeah.
Dan says no, but I know you guys are smarter than Dan, so you do like events that are free. So the next big fun free event at a Game Over store is going to be Saturday, October 8th. That's going to be our Super Retro Challenge, where we do a free retro tournament in certain stores around the country where we operate. And that's going to be in the store in Bellevue, Washington, the one in Arlington, Texas, the one in South Austin, the one in Selma, which is by San Antonio, and then the one in Houston on 1960. So those 5 stores are all doing free events on Saturday, October 8th. Do you want to know what games they're playing?
Yes.
Dan says yes. I have no idea. But you should probably check that store's Facebook page because they have all the details there. I don't know what it is. They change it every month. They don't tell me. I don't know. But cool stuff, and it's totally free. All you got to do is like show up at that time and say, hey, I want to play in this free tournament. And they'll say, okay, and they'll sign you up. It's easy. And you might win a prize. If you lose, there's no penalty. We don't like take money from you or anything. It's not like gambling. You don't lose any money. But if you go and you win, you do walk away with a prize. You get like a gift card and you can get something at Game Over. so you can show off your gaming skills to your friends. Yeah. Okay. So that's good stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Also, CGF News, Classic Game Fest, the biggest retro gaming event in Texas and one of the biggest in the U.S., is gearing up for 2023. So we've got the date set, July 22nd, 23rd, so basically like late July, like always in the summertime. It's in Austin, Texas, the Palmer Event Center. So we are booked. We're ready to go. We're still updating stuff on the website. I know the website still has old stuff on there. I know. I'm sorry. I've been backed up. But we'll be updating that soon, and then we're going to get the vendor booths on sale within the next couple weeks. So I'll give you updates on that on the show, and then ticket sales for attendees will go on sale sometime in October. So that'll be coming up next month, but soon. So this is kind of your last chance on survey feedback. The links are online for that. Last chance, because we've pretty much got all the surveys. But if anybody wants to do it now, because I'm going to be going over those in the next week to check them all out. Also, Lost and Found. I'm really about to go out and do some binge shopping on your credit cards. So please come get them now if you lost one. Otherwise, it's just all about me just pimping out the show and getting some cool stuff.
You're
I don't know.
Come in next week with some gold teeth and some chains.
Yeah, I'll have like game over, like gold rings, and
I'm surprised you don't have that tattoo yet.
No, I'm not going to use your credit cards, but basically if you don't claim them by the end of the month, I'm going to cut them up though and shred them, because I don't want them to fall into bad hands, and so I'm looking out for you by doing that. So get it or I'm shredding it, but either way I'm protecting you. So email us info@classicgamefest.com if you missed a credit card at CGF. Also, the T-shirts. You remember our whole T-shirt controversy that we ran out of CGF T-shirts because, not because we didn't order enough. We ordered a lot, but because they were so uber cool and popular that we just sold out even beyond our wildest expectations and order amount.
Everybody bought 6.
Yeah, people bought stuff for their friends and neighbors, and they went fast. So we have fixed that problem. We have ordered more. We took all of your requests. We have ordered the exact amount, actually a little over that amount, of various sizes, and we've been filling orders. So if you have already requested your shirt and paid for your shirt is either en route to you right now in the mail, or it's going to be en route within the next week, because we are literally shipping them out right now, but there are hundreds, so it takes time to put a little shirt in a bag and do 100 things, over 100 things, but they're coming. So expect that in September. So it'll be coming soon. If you haven't received it already, you'll get it in the next week or two. And then if there's any left after all that, we'll let you know. But we ordered a little extra to kind of cover a little cushion. But obviously we can't order after that point, because we're not going to order just like 1 or 2 more shirts, because it gets expensive to do it that way. It makes no sense. So we got to order by the hundreds, and then we did, and we've got our order in. So we're fulfilling those now. And thank you for your patience on that. Sorry again for the shortages. So anything else Classic Game Fest related? If you have any suggestions for what guests you want to see, what bands you want to hear, stuff like that, any other questions about Classic Game Fest, you can always email info@classicgamefest.com, and we'll be happy to get you answers to your questions. So that's it on the what's going on at your local Game Over store section. So now let's go on to level 3, the feature section, and talk about what the hell we've been doing the past few weeks. And we're back with level 3, the feature section. So in this show, because we've been off the air for a couple of weeks, I thought we'd take some time to talk about what's been happening the past few weeks. Because basically every week of my life, it's pretty eventful. I mean, I don't think I ever really have a slow week. I really don't. It just doesn't happen. So for me, we know Dan. Actually, I should talk about Dan first. So we know Dan was at the beach. He was basically just having fun the whole time.
Yeah.
Not doing a lot of work.
Be jealous.
Yeah, Dan says be jealous. So we are rightfully jealous that he was just at the beach the whole time, just having fun. So I was not at the beach, but this is what I've been doing the past few weeks. So first, my daughter has moved out of the house. She finally got sick of me, and she said, "I'm leaving." No, I love her and she loves me, but she went off to college, and so I moved her into her dorm. And, I'd never done that before. I mean, I moved out of my house just to get the hell out of there, not to go off to school. I did ultimately go to school, and I got a degree, so stay in school, kids. But I didn't have a traditional college experience, right? I was working full-time, going to school part-time, like community college and stuff, and eventually went back and got my degree. But I went a different path. I went the long road, the long, windy road. So she's going the right way. She's going right to college. And so I've never, moved into a dorm. I've never moved somebody into a dorm. I've never been in a dorm during move-in weekend. And it's pretty crazy. I mean, there's a lot of people there. I mean, it took us, I think, 2 hours in line to get in the parking garage. It took us over an hour in line waiting to use the elevator to go up to the floor to unload the stuff. And then obviously it took several hours to like unpack and move in stuff. So yeah, it's a whole day. It's a whole thing. And that, overall, I mean, even considering all that stuff, the delays and everything, it went really well. And so I'm happy for that. I'm happy that she's all settled in and wish her well. So hello, if you're watching, I miss you. Come back. No, you're fine. You're fine. But we miss you. And it's a tough thing. People, my age, I guess, have to deal with, right? Like middle-age problems. Your kids move out, which on the one hand, you're normally at least partially glad they're gone, like good, that's gives, me more peace and quiet in the house and stuff like that. And, you don't have to deal with, as many teenagers around and stuff. And so that's nice, but you miss them, they're your kids and you love them. And it's weird not having them around. It's just flat weird. There's a hole in the house and in the family. It's very, very odd. So for you other, fellow middle-aged parents going through that, like, I feel you. It's a weird feeling to be in. But we still have one other kid that's in high school, and he's all right. So we'll keep him around for a while. But in 4 years, he'll be going off to college, and then we'll really be stuck. 'Cause then it'll be just me and my wife, and that's a lot less fun. Having kids in the house is a lot of fun and excitement. And you're always taking them places, and stuff's always going on, and you got activities, after school activities and stuff. And it's kind of boring when it's just adults. I don't know. But adult life, right? Like, it's kind of boring because most of your adult life, it's just work, and once the kids kind of, move out and do their own thing, and then you're stuck with it's just like the two of y'all, you and your spouse and your work. And that's pretty much it. Because by that point, you don't have any friends. You don't have any other stuff. Maybe you have a hobby, but that's it. So anyway, but yeah, so got her moved in, so that was fun, and she's off to a great start in college, so I definitely wish her well on all that. Then also the next week I went to, or actually, yeah, the week after that I went to Washington. So went to visit our stores up there. So we got a store in Bellevue and a store in Tacoma in the Seattle area in Washington State, and that was really fun. I love going up there, especially in the summertime. The weather's always great. It's beautiful. Had a great view of Mount Rainier, which you can't see a lot of times when it's real cloudy and overcast, which it is a lot up there. But summertime, it's sunny, everything's green, it's cool. Just a really nice trip, and really enjoyed that. And I love, our staff up there, so it was great to see those guys. I don't get to go up there now more than, maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Well, four times a year maybe. But I love it up there, and I miss it when I'm not able to visit as much. So it was fun to go up there and visit with them. Then another thing I did, I guess this last weekend, I had a garage sale at my house again. I had a garage sale in the spring, and now I had another one, and I'm probably gonna have to have one more because I still have like so much stuff, and some of it is from an estate that I'm taking care of, and so it's not just my junk. It's just other people's junk that's at my house. Yeah, like I'm not hoarding for myself. I'm hoarding other people's stuff at my house and trying to help unload it for the family. But you know how it's like when you say you're having a garage sale and everybody's like, oh, can I give you a couple boxes of stuff to put out in your garage sale? And before you know it, there's like a community yard sale like at your house and all the crap's in your garage. Yeah, that's me. So anyway, so it went pretty well, but I don't know what it is. I mean, for those of you that like go out game hunting and stuff at garage sales. I know I've heard that like it's not the same as it used to be. You rarely see games and stuff at garage sales. Yeah. But it's weird. We didn't have any games at this garage sale, ironically, at my house. But because I'm not giving away my games, But I mean, it's like the people that come to garage sales. It's a lot less, it seems, than there used to be, right? Like I had one in like April or May, and then one now, so in like September. And I thought maybe, the summer would be too hot because summer's here is like 112, and it was, nobody's going to go in a garage sale when it's that hot. But still, it was like 95 during my garage sale, and it was hot, and I even burned my neck just being outside that much. But I was surprised at how few people came, especially early. I remember garage sales as a kid, and I remember when we would do one, and of course I would hate it because my parents would like make me help, and get up early, and you're like, but like, normally you would open your garage just to start, like, okay, let's go put out the folding table, and then bring your little boxes of stuff and put all your crap on top of the table. But the second you'd open the garage, there'd be like cars like idling in your driveway, like waiting out there, like vultures. And it wasn't like that. Like we had time. We opened up, we set up, we had all the tables, all the furniture. We actually had a ton of stuff. Like I can't tell you how much stuff there is that we had and still even afterwards need to get rid of. But like a lot of stuff. And for the first hour or two, it's like only a few people came. It was really weird. And we had signs up, and I did like an ad on Craigslist, and I guess what you're supposed to do about garage sales. I don't know. But it was just weird.
Next door? We
did next door post too. Yeah. But it's just, I think there's just not as many people that do it. People do other stuff on the weekends, or, there's fewer garage sales or fewer good stuff at garage sales that people just don't like want to waste their Saturday driving around to a bunch of them for what maybe no reason at all. I don't know, but I was a little underwhelmed at the turnout, but we did okay. But there's still a lot more stuff left, and so it's too much to just like throw it in the car and take it to Goodwill or something. So we're gonna have to do it again to really try and get rid of more bigger, bulky stuff. But that was fun, I guess, something to do. Let's see, back to school. So my other kid's back in school, so we've got some high school stories from him, which is fun. Hearing what that's like. And it's a big thing going off from middle school to high school. Middle school, there was like, I think like 500 kids, maybe 600 kids. In high school, there's like almost 3,000. So high school is like crazy big, and you don't know a lot of them because it's not just the kids from your middle school. It's the kids from like a bunch of other middle schools that feed into this one big mega high school. And, I don't know where, how it is where you guys live, if you're outside of Texas or this area or whatever. But I mean, high schools in Texas are big. And there's a lot of kids, and they feed from all over the area into these high schools, and it's almost like mini college campuses because the buildings are huge. There's a lot of different wings and departments, around the school, and so you got to like really navigate the first couple of weeks just to figure out where the hell to go. And so props to my son for getting through that pretty unscathed and everything, and so that's been fun to hear his kind of stories and updates on that. Let's see, what else? So CGF wrap-up, I'm still working on that, like I said earlier. Sorry I don't have all the surveys done and the website updated for next year yet. I've just been, I feel like I say this all the time, like I'm a broken record, that I'm just always busy. But I'm trying. I'm working on it. But a lot of our time, at least CGF-related time of my life, has been, getting these T-shirts ordered, getting them in, and they're literally right over there on the table, and they're all sorted out by size. And so we're like filling orders. We're filling about 10 or 20 a day. But like I said, we have several hundred, so it's going to take us a lot of days to fill them. But we're getting there. So that's going on. Also, all of our stores have just been restocked recently on Neo Geo stuff. So, we have that whole Neo Geo section in our stores now, and we carry like some of the fight sticks, and we carry like plug and play systems. We carry their arcade units that they sell. So like the home arcade, but the newly made home arcades, how they sell a lot of those nowadays. But this has all Neo Geo games built in it, so it's very cool. And we're one of the few retailers in the country that actually sells these in a store in the U.S., so it's really cool. So definitely check out your local Game Over store and look for the Neo Geo section and check out that stuff and see what we have in stock. But everybody was just restocked on it recently, so we should have at least 2 of everything in every one of our stores right now, if not more. So check that stuff out. That's really cool. But yeah, so I guess that's it. That's what I've been up to. Plus, I'm going to talk in the boss battle next week about one more thing that I've been up to, which is related to the Game Over car, which did not have a very good past couple of weeks. So we're going to go into the sad story of the death of the Game Over mobile next on the boss battle. And we're back with level 4, the boss battle. And so my biggest boss battle the past couple of weeks has been my car. The Game Over mobile, which now we have several cars at Game Over, but it's Game Over Mobile 001, the original OG, my personal car, which has finally met its maker. By Game Over Mobile. It's been quite an adventure. But yeah, so sad news that we lost a good one these past few weeks, and there was a procession through town where everybody stood and waved, and oh no, wait, that was the Queen. Yeah, sorry, yeah. My condolences to her too and her family. But
soon.
Too soon? Okay, that's all right. It's been going on for weeks, so eventually, maybe I should mourn the car for 3 weeks and have a procession through Austin. I don't know, but. So here's the story. So here's what happened to my car. My car is a 2010, or was a 2010 Toyota Scion XB. The cool little kind of boxy, miniature-sized SUV kind of cars, which at the time seemed really cool. And then it's been knocked off several times over the years. And now there's always cars that kind of look like that, like Mini Coopers or like Kia Soul and other stuff that looks kind of the same, like a small little boxy car. But it was cool. I bought it in 2009, in the summer of 2009. So I've literally had it for just over 13 years. It was the first new car I ever bought. So the first time I ever had new car smell, new car fear of parking in a parking lot, and not when people F up my doors and stuff like that. Because I've always had old used cars, and it's you just park wherever, and it's what are you going to do? Hurt my used car worse than it already is? So I had a good connection to this car, a good vibe. I really liked it. It was small, but it was kind of peppy and fast, and I enjoyed driving it. So my first new car ever, I got it 13 years ago. I put 186,000 miles, a little over 186 on the odometer. So that's a long time, even for a 13-year-old car. You normally average, I think, about 10,000 miles a year, on average. So it should be about 130, 140 on the odometer, but I was at 186. So I definitely, especially in the early years, the first 5 or 10 years, drove it a lot because it was the exclusive Game Over car. So that car went to every store ever, and it went to a lot of conventions, and so lots of big tubs full of games and merch and shelves and things, loaded, unloaded at all the Game Over stores around. And other events around the whole kind of Western U.S. And so drove it a lot. Obviously got a lot of advertising mileage out of it. It had the body wrap. I showed it on the show a couple weeks ago. So if you watch the YouTube version of this podcast, you saw the pictures of that, or you may have seen pictures online. You can look at my my personal Facebook or Instagram account or something, and scroll through and look for pictures of the black Game Over Scion car. But anyway, over the years it's gone a long way, to the joy and dismay of my kids at various times, being carted around town or going to friends' houses or being picked up at school in the Game Over Mobile. And, you can kind of imagine what that's like. If you have a work vehicle that has logos and stuff on it, and you can pick up your kids and they're kind of really, but when they're little, I mean, my kids have been really cool about it, really overall. But and when they're younger, it's really cool because it's oh, look at that car. That dad has a cool car, But when they get to be teenagers, it's a little less cool, and it's kind of oh, really? That's my car, that one over there. Which one is your dad? No, that's him. The Game Over Mobile. That's my dad. Sorry for all the years of embarrassment, kids. But it advertised, for Game Over, and it did a good job, great job, really. I mean, that wrap, I think when you wrap a car, it's supposed to last 5 to 10 years, and that one was on there almost the entire 13 years, and so it was a little worn and tattered around the edges, and a little faded, but overall, it was still, doing its thing, and it was advertising, and so we got a lot of mileage out of that. So I got to give props to the wrap and the car for lasting as long as it did. But yeah, basically what happened was, so I was driving the car back from San Antonio. I was visiting stores down there, even visited my in-laws at their house because they live in that direction, and then came back. I was coming back late at night. It was 11:30 at night on I-35, the interstate going through Texas, and just cruising at my normal, speed, which was well within the speed limit, I'm sure. Just suddenly heard pop and I heard what sounded like stuff flapping around. Like I thought, well, maybe a belt came loose or something. I don't know cars, but like I heard something flapping and popping, and then it kind of stopped, and the car kind of kept going a little bit, but it was different. it felt and sounded different, and that went for a while, and then I think I heard more pop, and then it did not want to go anymore after that point. And so, veered off to the side and, luckily made it off the interstate onto the access road. So even though it was like 11:30 at night, it was very dark. This was right between Austin and San Antonio, so it was kind of a little dark patch, of highway. But I got off onto the access road safely, and so that's good. And just barely got, over the like curb or the median onto the side. So I was safe, but apparently what happened was my water pump blew in the engine, and then and that's like, I guess, all the flapping around and stuff like that, and then when that blew, that is used apparently, and I don't know cars, but apparently that was used to like cool the engine. Yeah. And so when that blew, the engine got really hot or was really hot because I've been driving it all day, and the engine literally exploded. Like, so that was all the popping. It was, and when I took it in, they were like, yeah, there's a hole in your engine. I'm like, huh, okay. Can you fix that? No. No, you need a new engine. And I'm like, huh, okay. How much is that? This is when the bad news started. So to get a new engine, or even I didn't even need new. I was just like, how to fix or like replace. They were like, you can't fix because there's a hole in the engine. And so I guess there's no Band-Aid or no like, patch, like you can patch a tire. No, you can't do that to a hole in an engine. So apparently once it blows, it's just gone and you have to start over. So getting a even just replaced engine of a rebuilt variety or replacement type model was going to be like almost $10,000. And yeah, Dan's saying, I don't know. I've never replaced an engine, but that seemed like a lot of money to me. And for a vehicle that's 13 years old and has 186,000 miles, and like the thought of putting $10,000 in there, I was like, that doesn't seem like a good financial decision. And then there was no chance. Hi. No guarantee that it would work great anyway, because like rebuilt or replaced engines apparently don't last that long. Like it's not going to last 13 more years. So do you have some insight on this you would like to share?
Yeah.
Hi.
So due to the economy, cars in general are up. So prices. So
yeah.
People are doing more repairs to their current vehicle than normally. Instead of just going and buying a new car, they do more repairs, and so now car parts are up. So you probably spend $3,000-$5,000 just for the engine.
Yeah. And no, they're telling me like to replace the engine would be like almost $10,000.
But that includes labor.
Yes.
So it's like
half
of it's
that's
the engine,
yeah.
half of it's the labor because they don't want to do it. So
parts. Everything in this country right now, or in this world, it's like parts and labor is crazy. So, but yes, thank you for that economic minute, Dan.
I just had that conversation with my mechanic, actually.
Have you had a car that did this before? Yep. I've never had a car blow up on me. And I've had, like I said, all used cars except this one. Like this one was the only one I've ever had new. And I've had old cars. I've had cars with over 100,000 miles on them. And, I take care of my cars. I clean them. I guess I don't totally baby them, but like I take good care of them. I take good care of my stuff. Yeah, I don't treat things crappy,
Sometimes cars just go.
But yeah, so I've had older cars, go longer. I guess I've never had a car with that many miles on it, but that was mostly highway miles, just driving to all the Game Over stores and everything. But it's the first time I've had an engine blow, and yeah, I was thinking it'd be, oh man, that's a couple thousand or whatever, like that sucks. But like 10,000, I'm like, that more than sucks. That really sucks. Like that's like unfathomable. And so I was trying to figure out what other kind of like, form of automotive medical science we could do. Like how can we, like put jumper cables on it, just bring it back to life like Frankenstein or something. And, there's really nothing else they could do. They're like, unless you want to just spend an almost endless amount of money, replacing the engine, which is $10,000, and then whatever else they need to do to water pump or whatever to, make it work, and then again, there's no guarantee it's going to last another 10 years or whatever. Anyway, it just seemed like, and the mechanics even said this, like basically it was time. It was like time to let go. It was time. When you're at that point in life where someone's like, they're on all the machines and the machines are kind of doing the work, and the doctors are like, there's really nothing else we can do. I mean, you could spend maybe $1 million on another machine, but like, you're still not going to buy that much time on this body.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it was at. And so the doctors were like, it's time to let it go. Say your goodbyes. And so I did. And so I said goodbye to the legend, the one and only original OG Game Over Mobile. And they literally just towed it away this week. Like, I just put a picture on my my personal, social media stuff this week about it. And they just towed it away like yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah. No, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. So I took all my stuff out, and that's always weird. It's like when you're moving out, like at a breakup, and it's like you're kind of like a walk of shame. It's like you're like, okay, I got my toothbrush, and got my comb, and my DVDs or whatever.
And that's all I need.
But it's just like I had a bag, and I'm just putting my stuff in the bag. It's like there's my sunglasses, there's my stuff in the glove box, and there's and I take everything out, and one of the things that car had among the many fine features was I had these cool like custom seats, like seat backs, like custom things.
Aww. Put it on a stand.
I know,
Put it up in your office.
but I had to save some, so like I left the 2 up front because I think they need those for safety. But I took the 2 out of the back seat, so I have one here and I took one home just to have a little reminder. So I don't know. So maybe Dan and I were talking about this earlier. Maybe I can like mount it on this and like make a little Game Over chair here with that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but so I saved this a little souvenir because it was cool and something that's kind of frivolous. Like, I would normally never be the kind of person to like get monograms on a seat back or whatever, but when I got the car, they had a deal where you could do a certain amount of like customizing that was included. That was back when cars were plentiful supply, and they would actually do all kinds of stuff to get you to buy a car. Now it's the opposite. There's no cars, and they're like, you're going to take this car and like it, and you're going to pay full price and get all the extras, and because that's all I have, and that's your only choice. But back then, it's like there were rebates and coupons and deals, and one of those was custom. So I got like custom like leather seats upgraded. I got the monogram thing, and I got, what else did I get?
Steering wheel?
It had a steering wheel.
No, didn't you do something to the steering wheel? Or
No, the steering wheel was the same. I got a nice radio with it. But yeah, so I got like some upgrades as part of the deal on the car, and that was one of them, those custom seat covers. So anyway, so that was nice. But yeah, so now it's basically, I had to sell it for scrap because there's nothing else really we could do. I could have maybe just parked it in front of a store for advertising until the wrap totally faded off, but I felt like it was already kind of in bad shape as far as the wrap goes, and I didn't want it to, like, it's one thing to have it advertised for your store, but if it starts like to unravel and fall apart, and it's not really advertising in a good way, it's like, here's this raggedy old Game Over store, and their car's like all dilapidated up on blocks, but it says Game Over on there in front. I don't want that. So we sent it off to the parking lot in the Sky, and so hopefully they'll maybe use it for parts or something. And someday you'll see some little Scion driving around town that'll have a fender that has like a little Atari controller on it, or like it'll say Gay-O or what, eat me whatever, like part of the Game Over on there. You'd be like, hey, I bet that fender used to be part of the Game Over car. Anyway, but yeah, so it's gone, and I'm sad, and luckily we have a spare vehicle that I'm driving now, which is my older car that I had before this. I have an old Pathfinder that's, it's 22 years old now. It was a 2000 Pathfinder, and so it still works, okay. It's just not something I would want to take on a long distance because it also has really high miles, and it's not in the best shape, but it's in decent enough shape. So I'm driving that now. But I need to get a new car. So I'm looking at maybe like a new Pathfinder or something else. I like SUVs. And I really liked the Scion because it was small and kind of sporty. But I'm actually thinking now that getting something maybe a little bigger, like a Pathfinder again, just because I do haul stuff for work a lot, and I haul kids, and I haul my parents around now, and
just throw them in the back.
Yeah, because really, it's, if we ever like get together with my parents, my dad doesn't drive, my mom doesn't like to drive, and so they like to be chauffeured around. So I'm like their Uber, driver on call for them, and so it's good for me to have extra seats in a car, right? I should be, based on my age, I should be at the age where I'm entitled to some kind of like sporty, like little like convertible or something like that. Some kind of like badass, like a Corvette or something. Because isn't that what middle-aged guys are supposed to do, is get some kind of red Corvette or something that like they have no business driving? I don't know. But I'm not going that route. I'm going the conservative family route, but I'll get something kind of sporty type SUV, I guess. But anyway, so I'll be looking for that next. But for now, rest in peace, Game Over Mobile. It's been a wild ride, and a lot of memories in that car, and a lot of pictures that, like I said, some of them you can see on the social media pages for me or for Game Over. But yeah, so I remember you fondly, and we will never forget. But let's move on to the show. Let's go on to the bonus level now, talk about fan feedback. And we've had a lot of comments in the past few weeks, so I have quite a few. So I'm going to try and break it all down to you right now. We're going to break it down. Let's go.
Hammer time. What are we doing?
We're doing the bonus level.
Okay, let's go.
All right. And we're back for the bonus level, fan feedback. So I've got a lot of feedback from the past couple of weeks on the shows and comments on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. And I'm going to try and break it all down here. But there's a lot, so I'm going to try and pack a lot into a small segment. So let's go. I'm going to do like a lightning round here. So I had some comments on my birthday, because my birthday was last month, so somebody said they hoped that I had a special birthday, so thank you.
What did you get for your birthday?
Nothing.
What?
Yeah, no, I
You at least got one present.
I got one present from you,
Yeah.
which I love.
You're welcome.
But I really didn't really get anything else. But that's okay, because I really didn't want anything else. So like, don't give me stuff. I don't want stuff. I have lots of stuff. I'm fine. But I really, I don't know what it was, because it's not even like I'm a big round number like 50 or something, where like it's real monumentous, and so I'm, what am I, 47? I don't know. I mean, that's nothing. That's a really non-event birthday. It's just, oh well. So I haven't really been celebrating that much, and I just kind of let that one go to the wind. But yeah, I told people not to celebrate, and for the most part, they didn't. Except Dan. So Dan loves me the most. So yeah, that's why I love Dan. But this person said, hope they had a special birthday. They said, I'm a special dude, which is nice. Aww. Thank you very much. And let's see, they've been gaming since they're 4 years old. CGF was the most fun they ever had on their own. And they said they spoke to me. So hi. I'm not sure I could put like your name and face and everything together, because I spoke to a lot of people at CGF, but I'm glad we got to meet. So that's awesome, and I'm glad that you like CGF. So he says keep playing games forever. So that's cool. And then the same person, CC Gamer. So I'm not sure who this is, but they asked me a lot of questions. So this is like a rapid fire question round within a rapid fire feedback round. So I'm going to go really quickly through this. What year did you open Game Over? 2005. First console played, Atari 2600. Nice. My age, I am 47 now. Favorite console? My favorite console is probably the NES, just because that one I had all through the 80s. I played a lot of games on there. I literally used to, because we couldn't afford to buy a bunch of games, so I would rent games like every week. So I'd try all kinds of games. So I haven't finished a lot of games, but I've sampled and tried a lot of NES games. But I love the NES console. Do I like recent or retro better? Retro. Yeah. Favorite arcade? My favorite arcade is probably Miss Pac-Man. That one I could just play anytime, anywhere, as long as I can. So I love that. If I could meet any video game character, who would it be and what would we do?
Pac-Man.
Huh. Pac-Man. I don't know. I mean, I can. Well, I don't know. I mean, most of the video games that I enjoy are the more like, abstract. I mean, I guess like, the one with people that I'd play the most would be like the Mario type games. And but I don't know if I'd want to really meet Mario. I mean, he's a plumber that goes around breaking stuff and jumping around. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't really know what my favorite character would be. You know what I'd like to meet? I'd like to meet Samus. That's what I'd like to meet. Ooh. I'd like to really get to know Samus. I'd like to meet Samus and be very respectful with Samus. And then we'll see where it goes. So let's see. Longest time video games played continuously. That's a good question. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've played more than a couple hours at a time. But when I was a kid, I think you might be a kid or younger. Definitely younger than me. I probably played maybe a good chunk of a weekend playing games, maybe like a Saturday or Sunday all day, or like had like a sleepover and played kind of through the night. I know I had some times on like an NES or some of the older systems where I'd play until I like couldn't stay up, either because of parents or just getting tired, and then you had to pause the game, but you didn't turn it off because you couldn't save on a lot of those, so you'd pause it and like turn the TV off but leave the game on and pause it and then pick it up the next day. But continuously without breaking to sleep, probably just a day, I guess, doing that. Okay, let's see. Which Mario Kart or Mario Party game is my favorite? None.
You don't like Mario Kart?
I don't know. I mean, I like it, but I don't have a favorite. I like the original Super Mario Kart, and I like really playing any version of Mario Kart. Okay, I'm not a huge fan that plays it all the time and know all the tracks and everything, but I like it okay.
Which version do you like?
The ones I've played the most on Mario Kart is probably just the original Super Mario Kart on Super NES, or the Mario Kart like in the arcades where everybody sits and there's like four chairs and you play it that way. But I don't really play like the GameCube or the Wii versions or anything that much. So I have, and they're fun. But it's not a game I play a lot. And the Mario Party games I never play. I think I've played one Mario Party game one time, not even a full game. I don't know. It's partly because I don't have any friends. So maybe sometime on the show we can play a Mario Party game, and I can have other people come in, and we can have a party going.
Let's do it.
Dan's on board, so we just need a couple other people, and we'll have like a 4-player Mario Party. Have I ever heard of or played Snowboard Kids for the 64? Yes, I've heard of it. No, I've never played it. And then he gave me his answers to all these questions. So it's like if I was asking him the same questions. So what year did he open Game Over? He did not open Game Over. What was his first console played? Nintendo 64. He was 4 years old in 1998. And I think this is a him, so I'm sorry if it's her instead of I don't know. They played, and let's see, N64 was their favorite, like Chuck E. Cheese, Peter Piper Pizza, now Dave & Buster's or Pinballs. Yeah, I'm right with you there. I love all that stuff. Wants to go to Cidercade someday. Me too. I've never been to Cidercade, but I don't really drink cider or alcohol, so I don't know. But it sounds like a fun place to go. Let's see. They would like to meet Princess Peach and race Mario Kart Rainbow Road. So that would be fun. I would like to meet Princess Peach, I guess, if she was a real person. That'd be fun. They played 16 hours straight, which probably is a little more than me, because I think I probably played for a day, but maybe not 16 hours in a day. 16 hours straight. Mario Party 3 and Mario Kart Double Dash are their favorites. And one of their favorite games is Snowboard Kids 2 on N64. So, wow. So thanks for all the feedback and all the questions. But, man, you pack a lot of questions into one comment. So good job. All right. So let's move on to some other comments here. Somebody said, I hope you saw the birthday message. Their birthday was 4/28, and the show was 4/28. So that was pretty cool. Oh, that nice. Kind of lined up. Yeah. And let's see. And said he has questions. And so, yeah. I don't know. I guess I don't recall this. I must have written this down a while back, but I guess your comment said you had questions but didn't actually list the questions. I don't know. So if you have questions, ask me the questions. You can ask questions in our comments to like the YouTube stream or on Facebook when I post the videos, or you can email questions to me anytime at podcast@gameovervideogames.com and let me know what you want to see me do or hear me talk about or ask me questions for the show. And then all that feedback, I put into this and part at the end of each show, and I'll give you answers. So I'm trying to be pretty transparent, open book. And so ask me anything, and I'll try and give you honest feedback. Let's see. Pints and Amiga comment on the show. So thank you guys. And they were actually at CGF. And they live streamed the entire weekend. Nice. So you can actually see that on their Twitch channel, Pints, Pintz, and A&D, Amiga, AMIGA. So go to their Twitch channel and you can check out the stream. I guess it's saved, the recording of the stream from CGF. So that's really cool. You want to see the whole show and see people like walking around all weekend and everything. Very cool. And thank you guys for coming and recording that. Let's see. Marlon says happy birthday. This is my favorite. Marlon, you're my favorite person.
Marlon.
So Marlon says, this is his quote, "I'm the beautiful, bald, wise god of his retro gaming cult." That's my favorite thing anyone's ever said to me ever.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you, Marlon. You're awesome. So I really appreciate that. He says every day is a gift. We don't need presents. That's right. And I'm not really down on birthdays, but I am down on presents. Like I don't need or want stuff. I like people. I'd like to have more friends. I'd like to do more stuff. I'd like to have more free time. But
Sell your business.
stuff in a box is stuff in a box, but like I'd rather do stuff and have people in my life. So yeah, I agree. He's saying, people are the biggest thing. Every day is a gift. And yeah, I mean, I've seen, some people close to me pass away recently, and it is a gift, and we need to all realize that we're only here for a limited time. Like it doesn't go on forever. You have normally 100 years or less. Normally it's less. And so you make the most of that time, right? Because eventually it runs out. And, everybody dies at a different time, a different way. But the one thing that's the same is we don't live forever. So you got to make use of your time. Let's see. He wants me to stay one of the realest guys on earth. So that's nice. So I'm trying to keep it real. I keep it real, yo. Let's see. He says, "What's up, Dan?"
Hey!
And he says, "Thanks for keeping the show entertaining."
You got it.
Which is kind of sounds like a side slam to me. Because, like, if it wasn't for Dan, I wouldn't be entertaining.
True.
What? Okay, Dan says true. I'm at least halfway entertaining on my own, I think. But yes, Dan provides all the additional color and life to the show that we sometimes desperately need. So let's see. Neo C. I was talking last week about, last month, I guess, when we did the show last. I forget what I was talking about. Maybe Last Starfighter. And he said he was thinking of Armada during the stories before I mentioned it. So we're on the same page there. What were we talking about that we talked about Last Starfighter? Do you remember?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, also, I read online that they've been talking about potentially making a Last Starfighter update or sequel or something. So, I don't know. Maybe I mentioned that on the show. Did I talk about that?
Movie.
I don't know. They should. Armada was really cool too. It was a lot like Last Starfighter, slightly different, but very similar. But both would make great movies. Yeah. Let's see. Ricky, awesome show and happy birthday. Thanks, Ricky. Let's see. CGF preview was awesome. So, because remember, we asked for feedback on the CGF trailer. We got to get back to that, Dan. We got to, now that you're back in town, get the final, details on there and get that thing ready to roll.
Do it.
But so this was CGF trailer feedback. So likes the camera angles, like the zoom from the Pac-Man mini sync is perfect. And he's wondering, should it be the biggest U.S. come before biggest Texas? Because we said like one of the biggest in the U.S. and the biggest in Texas. And I guess we said biggest in Texas, one of the biggest in the U.S. And I don't know. I think it's right to say the biggest in Texas and one of the biggest in the U.S.
Maybe
because if you say one of the biggest in the U.S. and then say the biggest in Texas, that seems like I don't know which way is right.
And not both.
Yeah, I mean we're really to the point now where like we used to say biggest in Texas because we wanted to drive home the point that we had more people and more stuff, more vendors than any other event in Texas, but also that it was, statewide, that it's not local. Because most retro gaming events these days, there's like one in every city, right? There's one in, probably Lubbock or someplace, or Waco. I mean, it's just, they're not unique based on the fact that they happen. They're unique when they draw people from outside of your normal, like, small neighborhood, like, friend group or whatever, or Facebook group. But now we're bigger than Texas. I mean, this past event, and I have to get this map like printed up or something and show it on the show. But when we sell tickets online, it tracks like where the tickets are bought from, like where people are coming from, and we literally have people from almost every single state coming to CGF, and we had vendors from like 10 or 12 different states coming. So it's truly becoming a national phenomenon and not just a Texas or Austin phenomenon. So we definitely want to focus on the U.S. part. So I guess that's maybe something we should talk about, Dan, on that. Also, we mentioned ticket prices going up. He wants to know what the new prices are. I don't have that yet, but I can tell you the ticket prices we had this past year for our event, they will definitely be higher next year. And the reasons are pretty straightforward. Like everything is higher. So the cost is higher, the venue's higher, the labor's higher. But plus, competitive wise, like I said, there's retro themed events, even though they're mostly, like toys with a few video game booths in most places. There's retro type events in all kinds of towns now, and most of them charge about what we charged this year for CGF. Even though their event is way smaller, has hardly any video games at it, and it's just a much smaller scale type event. And so, it's clear that we're not where we need to be price wise. So I would expect them to go up. The door prices are going to be much higher, way higher. So I want to warn people in advance, like they will start low, but instead of being low the entire time they're on sale, they're going to start low, like the vendor booths. We do the same thing on vendor booths. They start really cheap, and then every couple of months it goes up, and then it goes up, and then it goes up. And then if you buy one like at the event, you're paying like the absolute highest price for a vendor booth, and you're probably in the back. And so it's going to be like that with tickets. So if you wait till buy tickets at the door, it's going to be really expensive. It's going to be probably like $50, maybe more. So don't do that. Buy them in advance. And so we'll have it tiered, and we'll let you know once we have that all set in stone. And we'll still make sure that it's a great deal, like compared to other national type retro gaming events, which there's not a lot, but there is a handful that are big enough that we can compare CGF to them. They all charge way more than CGF. And so we're trying to get more on par with what the community for that type of event charges, because we've just been charging too little for too long, apparently. But when every little small town that has a retro show charges more than us, and ours is this statewide and practically nationwide show, it just doesn't make any sense, because the costs have gone up for us just like they've gone up for them. It's just I haven't passed that along to anybody yet. But we raised our vendor prices a couple years ago on booths, and we're trying to keep that stable, but now raise the ticket prices to kind of compensate and make up for these past couple of years where everything's gotten way more expensive, and to be more competitive with other shows. So we'll let you know soon what the new pricing is, but it will definitely pay to buy early from now on for CGF. Let's see if I can find my place. Let's see. Oh, question for Dan here. Let's see. It said how to remove Sharpie marker from carts, because you talked about on the Dan's Minute at the end of the show.
Freezing.
No, you did on the on like the CD DVD cases.
Yeah.
To write with a Sharpie on top of
dry erase.
Okay.
Please don't draw with Sharpie on your CD cases.
You take a Sharpie, you scribble on your game, and it's fixed, right? Is that how it works?
Or just scratches. Yeah.
Okay, but for the like DVD case type, like Xbox games and stuff, if there's Sharpie on it, you write over the Sharpie with a dry erase, then you wipe the whole thing off, because that somehow sucks to the Sharpie and pulls it off.
That was my tip from last.
That was his tip. So the question is, how do you get Sharpie off of a cart? Like a cartridge, like an NES card or 64, where they write like Dan on there because someone's going to steal your freaking 64 game. So you got to write your name on it.
Two things. If it's on the sticker, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah, I don't know anything. The sticker, you don't want to touch it. Just leave it there.
Because here, like you can get pretty much all of it off of a piece of plastic with just rubbing alcohol and some elbow grease.
Yeah.
Just rub it real hard with some rubbing alcohol. That works 99% of the time, and sometimes it takes longer because the Sharpie's really old. And then there's some other chemical solutions you can use, but I don't really want to try to like melt my plastic, so I don't do those. But the rubbing alcohol and rubbing gets most of it off.
Rubbing alcohol is genius. If you collect retro games, you got to have rubbing alcohol handy at all times anyway.
But if you do that with a sticker, you'll take the color off.
Yeah.
You'll just take the sticker.
Anything like Windex, rubbing alcohol, Goo Gone. I mean, you put any of that on the label, the label's gone. It's toast.
Don't mess with the label.
Don't do that. So if they write on the label, they're really dumb, and you're dumb for buying that game from that dumb person because you can't fix it.
If it's driving you crazy, the best option is to take the sticker off and get a repro sticker and just put that on it. That'd be the only way to really do it. But then you're dealing with
maybe you can find a defective cart and swap cases.
Yeah, you could buy
Look on eBay for like a broken like Mario Kart 64, and maybe you can buy that for like $5 or $10. Just take the shell and then put it on yours.
If it's cleaner than yours. So that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
All right. Good question though. Thank you, Dan. You're handy to have around, Dan.
Well, that's why they pay me the big bucks.
That's why you get the big bucks.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Some more comments. Awesome video. Happy birthday. Happy Labor Day. Larry Larry hasn't commented for a long time on the show, but he commented on like my social media saying, "I'm sorry I haven't commented on the show so long." And so I thought I'd still mention you on the show, saying that technically I got a side comment from Larry on another channel on my personal page saying, "Hey, sorry I haven't responded on the show page." So whatever, but we miss you, Larry. So
Love you, Larry.
Yeah. So Dan loves you. I love you. So thanks for reaching out. And also he loved your GameStop joke. What was your GameStop joke? I forget. But he said something like your GameStop joke was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
It was?
It was.
But what was it? I don't remember.
If I said it again, it would ruin it. So just leave it in the.
Okay, so we'll just have to take your word for it that it was hilarious, but not all the show is planned. A lot of it is pretty just spontaneous, and we don't really remember, especially now, like weeks later. Like I don't know what we said last show. But anyway, that's it. So that's all the comments and feedback. But thank you guys for that. I really appreciate the feedback, especially when there's a lot of it to go through. I'm sorry this show is probably a little longer than most of our shows, but we did kind of have a lot of built up, I think, stuff to talk about from these past few weeks being gone. But I love the feedback. So like I said earlier, you can email me anytime, podcast@gameovervideogames.com. Reach out. Let me know what you want me to do, to say, to talk about. I don't know, any ideas for the show. We want to make it fun for y'all. So it's fun for us to do it. Dan and I love hanging out and stuff, but give us an idea, give us some direction, give us some questions. Be like, Mr. 20 Questions here, CC Gamer. I mean, that was awesome. But I mean, talk about, packing a lot into just one comment. So that was awesome. But thank you guys for watching the show. I hope you really enjoy it. We enjoy doing it for you. And so anything we can do to make it better, just let us know. But thanks for your business and support. We always appreciate that. Without you shopping and buying stuff, spending that money in Game Over stores, there's no ability for us to do this. So thank you for doing that and supporting us and our employees and giving us all jobs to continue to come back to that we love. So if you watch on YouTube, please subscribe. Hit the button that is, I guess, maybe down if you're watching like here. Is that right? Down there? I don't know. There's a subscribe option. You know how to do this stuff. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Hit the button. Do the thing. Put the name in there. Click it. Like it. Do it. Love it. I don't know. Whatever the hell you do it. But we appreciate that feedback and, subscribing to our channels, listen to the audio streams. I'm much, much better looking on the podcast than on the YouTube version because you can just picture in your mind me being like awesome and sexy. And when you watch on YouTube, you kind of have to like, avoid like the glare from my head and everything. And, I'm hideous. Look away. But anyway.
We could replace you with Grogu and nobody would notice.
Yeah, I should do the whole show one day just without being seen and just do it like through the voice of one of these guys. Oh, did Spider-Man fall again? I didn't even notice.
I definitely didn't do that.
He's doing his like, what's that shit, like the St. Elmo's fire, like, at the end. Yeah, okay. But anyway, thanks for your support. Thanks for your business. Thanks for watching this show. We love you. Send us comments and feedback, and we will see you next week because if it's Friday, it's Game Overcast time. So have a great week, everyone. That's it. Game over. Well, I love the Back to the Future movies. I haven't seen them in a while, but I've seen them enough times that it's still pretty fresh. And once I get going, I can normally do a lot of the scenes from there.
Nice. Let's do it. Let's do a whole run through.
Of Back to the Future?
Yeah, how's it start? Okay.
So first, you pan through Doc's workshop with all the clocks ticking. Okay, and then you see the guitar pick, and Marty's got his guitar and he's getting ready to like rock out, and he's. And then the amp explodes and everything like crashes around him and he's trying to figure out what happens and he's like, whoa, rock and roll. And so it's smoke clearing and everything like that. And the phone rings and he's like, well, it's not a cell phone like this. It's more like this. It's like, hey, Doc. Yeah. Hey, I fed the dog. Where you been? Because there's a bunch of dog food in the thing. Like he hasn't been home at his shop in a long time. And he's like, Marty, I'm working on something. I'm something really big. And he's like, yeah, what? The amp is blown. Or no, Doc says something about like, don't plug into the amp. It might overload. And Marty's like, yeah, I think there's a good chance of that because it already exploded. See, but Doc didn't know that. Got it, yeah. Okay. But then, okay. Okay, so then all the clocks all over the wall start going off, all the alarms. Yeah. And so Marty's like trying to hear what Doc is saying. He's like, what? Yeah, all the alarms are going off. And Doc's like, oh, great. My experiment worked correctly. The clocks are all exactly 10 minutes, 20 minutes off or something. And then Marty's like, are you trying to tell me that it's, 8:15 or something? And Doc's like, precisely. And then Marty says, well, I'm late for school. Cue the Huey Lewis.
Classic.
Scene.